you guys. Hey, Nate. Hey, Ashton. Hey, Lori. Hey, Eastern Girl. Hey, Shakes Her Fist. Hey, Crazy Mama. Hey, Kim. I saw your comment. Your comment had me laughing about the I cannot help it. Even Woofy laughs at me because like, we'll be on the phone and like she'll say something and I won't say anything, and then she'll go because she knows that's what I'm about to do, and I don't even like consciously do it. Hey, in the Dax. Hey, cool gamer. Lynn. Hey, beautiful. Good to see you. Hey, Shakes Her Fist. I don't know if I said hello to you already. I am so sorry that I was late, you guys. Bentley got something in his eye and he started freaking out, and I think he scratched his eye, and I was like, doing saline and blowing in it and saline again, and just it was a whole thing. And then right as I'm about to go live, like I'm trying to pull up my computer. I had to reset the whole thing. It was just a lot. I do apologize though for being late. Also, while I was getting ready, I was trying to listen to like some of that stuff from last night because I kept hearing about this Kim lady and this and that. And oh my God, what a freaking mess. Like, I don't understand how some people have so many viewers. Like, I don't know. Some people it's like they purposely mislead their audience, and it's a shame because their audience are the very people that support them, and without them, I don't know. It's frustrating, but I've got a couple updates with both Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell and Letecia. So I wanted to talk to you guys about those, and we're going to go through all of the tweets from the day that Lori and Chad had court. Because remember, we recently talked about Lori and Chad having met, like having wanted a meeting and had that phone call back in the summer. And they were asking the judge to meet up together. It's going to be really interesting because Chad doesn't seem to want much to do with Lori. So I can't wait to go through these with you guys. Kim D is not the crazy Kim lady. Well, I mean, I don't know, I don't know. I don't even know what to say about that. I haven't gathered my thoughts yet. Also, I want to say to my mods before we get started, I'm not going to be dropping any links anymore unless I say so. Just because like a creator comes in or something, you don't have to drop their links. Yeah. Oh my God, Bieber, I saw that. Oh my gosh. Social security numbers. I mean, what the heck? Well, I took down my post of the witnesses for Letecia Stauch's hearing because their addresses were on there. Now, most of their addresses were the FBI office, and the other ones we knew where everyone lived, but still. So I cannot imagine not immediately taking that down as soon as you realize and it's brought to your attention. I have a case request. This case in a small town in Missouri, and 2 young people were murdered and dismembered. They deserve attention. It's a super crazy case with the wild storyline. You should email it to me, Socks Life. Yeah, that was awful. I feel really, really, really bad for her, for Hero over there. I think he did just take it down like just a few minutes ago. Okay, and then the last thing before we get started about the links. Yeah, I'm done being used. I really don't appreciate it. I try really hard to be very supportive of other channels. I'm always, shouting out other channels, dropping links, mentioning this live, that live, and I will still do that. It's just, I'm going to be very careful about who I do that with. And yeah, because like I've literally see people, I know for a fact I've given people stuff, and see people like see things from my channel and then like, or get stuff from here and they don't mention me. So I'm not going to do that anymore. But oh my God. Oh, I know I'm not the same, but thank you, because yeah, I don't want to be yeah, selective link dropping. I don't want that to happen. You know what I mean? I don't know. Okay, so let's get started. So, last time we talked about Chad and Lori. Remember, they wanted to have a chance to meet up, and they also had a phone call last summer. So we're going to look at what happened in their court hearing, and also I want to show you guys Lori going in. So Lori was all fixed up. She was certainly ready. To see Chad, and it seems like he was not very excited about seeing her. This tweet I thought was interesting, and we will go through all of them, but this got me very excited. The trial is going to go forward in April of 2023. I can't push it out any further because Lori has not waived her right to a speedy trial. Now, I've got a few videos, the grandparents interview, some things we can look at, but first we have to go through these tweets. The only thing that I want to show you is Miss Lori showing up for court, or leaving court, rather. Thank you, Cray Cray. Oh, wait. Kay, thank you so much for that super sticker. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And I can't see them because I'm not on my phone. So YouTube, we can't see the super stickers. But I seen like the little thing flash through, and I hope I don't ever want to miss saying that. I appreciate that so much. Thank you. And Kay, did you see you had asked me for a link for the bracelets under a comment in this? I didn't see it till this morning, but I did go leave you the link so that if you want to get them. Thank you, Gregory. Let's see. I'll read your other comment. Where is it? Coming here to advertise they're going live. Yeah, I don't like that. You are a jock strap or sports bra of support. Thank you, Gregory. And yes, Kay, thank you again so much. Okay, so let's go back to looking at Lori. I couldn't even look because I was thinking about Kay, and yeah, I don't want to miss that. So how did she get so fixed up? I've got to know. I mean, I know in prisons they have like hair shops, like little, like kind of like Orange is the New Black. They really do. Look at her. She looks like she's back on the pageant stage. She's just like, hey, everybody, I'm here. Hair flip. Like I know I'm not, up for trial for the murder of my babies and my husband's wife, but hi. Look at her smile. She's just like, I don't know, just happy to freaking be there. She loves the cameras. She loves all that attention. Remember, the reason there are not cameras in the courtroom is because her lawyer said people were kind of laughing at Lori and poking fun at her and that kind of stuff. Yeah, the smile. Oh my gosh. Oh, yay. I'm glad you got to order. That's awesome. I want to know the names of who's disrespecting you. Oh, Amy, thank you. Yeah, I wouldn't do that just because I wouldn't, I wouldn't want to do that to y'all. I wouldn't want to make you feel a type of way about somebody. I just hope that you guys be really cautious and make sure that you know who you're supporting, because some of these creators, they've done some really bad stuff, and it's easy to find if you look. Okay, so back to here. I'm going to go inside so I can go on camera in a little bit. But right now I'm hanging out with y'all outside eating chocolate-covered strawberries, smoking my cigarettes, and drinking a Mexican Coke. Okay, so Lori and Vallow. Okay, so here he goes. The hearing's set to begin at 9. The jury sequestration is also on the agenda. It's about if they're going to have the death penalty and if they can meet up. So Nate says the courtroom is set up with 3 tables in an L shape. Lori and Chad at separate tables next to each other with their lawyers. Prosecutors at the other table, still waiting on Lori and her defense to enter the courtroom. Lori has entered the courtroom wearing pink blouse and black dress pants. She has red lipstick on and her hair is curled. She looked over at Chad as she entered. You know what? I love that there are reporters who are willing to do these live tweets, because if the camera's not allowed in there, we're not going to know what happens. And just the fact that they take the time to detail what they're wearing, the fact that she looks at Chad, and you know what I mean? Chad in a white shirt has been looking straight ahead. Apparently, Chad, I don't think I don't know. Hey, MK. I hope you're having a good day at work. Hey, Jeannie. Lori. Amy, I know. I've been on that same journey of realizing kind of who I'm supporting and that kind of stuff. So John Pryor, Chad Daybell's attorney, is arguing the trial needs to be pushed back because he's waiting on DNA evidence. Quote, "It is evidence I need and want to use in support of my case, and I'm entitled to it," unquote. Says he doesn't know when he will get the evidence and needs more time. I definitely don't miss listening to Chad's lawyer. He's a jerk. He really is. So then he says, even if DNA is provided to me tomorrow, I'm going to need time to have my expert tested and make their own conclusions. Pryor doesn't blame prosecutors for delay, says it's the state's experts who aren't finding this evidence. February 23rd is the deadline for evidence to be disclosed to all parties. Pryor said even if he gets new DNA evidence tomorrow, it doesn't give him enough time before the trial, which is set for April 3rd. Pryor, if I don't get that evidence, Mr. Daybell is going to file an ineffective counsel against me. As much as I like Chad, he's going to do it, and he won't hesitate to do it. Then this case will be turned over because I wasn't provided an opportunity to adequately prepare. Now, this is the reason they've pushed this case back as far as they had, because he said this before, months ago. I remember him saying this, and the judge is like, okay, you have to, but I know Nate Eaton is just so incredible. He really, really is. Chad has been trying to distance himself for a very long time. Good luck, Gravedigger. It's not going to work. You are tied together in this pit of hell you all created. Absolutely. Hey, Amanda. Okay. Fremont County Prosecutor Lindsay Blake now responding to Pryor's argument. This court has been made aware of the outstanding DNA. We've talked about the efforts to get it. Even with that going on, the defendant was initially insistent that the trial take place in January of 2023. Blake says Pryor has been aware of outstanding discovery and evidence when he said at the last motion to continue that would be ready for trial in January. Uh-oh. Luckily, it won't scroll us all the way back. Boyce asked Blake, is there exculpatory evidence that has not been disclosed? Blake, there was a potential source of DNA evidence that was located. State lab personnel does not believe through testing it they are going to get any DNA back. Could it be exculpatory? We don't know. Blake says Pryor is welcome to test the evidence that crime lab is testing. Blake responding to Pryor's statement about the case being overturned. It's an erroneous conclusion that if he proceeds to trial and evidence is not allowed in, it automatically results in a new trial. There is a lot more that needs to be looked at. Pryor saying he was ready for the trial when he previously said he would be ready, but has since learned about the additional evidence in another grand jury convening that involved witnesses in Chad's case. Details of the other grand jury have not been made public. I remember that. Because Pryor, he was acting like Melanie, it was about Melanie, possibly. Chad continues to face forward. I have not seen him look at Lori once. Lori has occasionally glanced over at Chad. Chad's lawyer continued the rebuttal, asking for a sidebar, and then the prosecutor asked for a sidebar. Boyce denies the request and says he's ready to rule on Pryor's request to delay the trial. Boyce. Mr. Pryor has been representing Mr. Daybell since June 12, 2020. This trial in the case was scheduled originally for November 8, 2021. It was scheduled again because of delays of competency issues, and we set it out to January 9th, 2023, which would have been in trial now. The overarching concern is that one defendant, Mr. Daybell, is requesting to have it set out another year. The co-defendant has unequivocally asserted her right to a speedy trial. She has never waived about wanting things to go without delay. The trial is going to go forward in April of 2023. I can't push it out any further because Lori Vallow Daybell has not waived her right to a speedy trial. Yay! Imagine if she waives her right like right before. Oh my God, I'm going to fall on the floor, y'all. Okay, I can't see the chat while I'm reading, so I hope everything's okay. Force that sucker to trial. Yep, no waiting gears. It doesn't result in a new trial. Mostly, Chad created this whole mess. Lori, just a subservient follower and her fellow crazy loser. Oh, yeah, and the worst mom ever. Yeah, she's definitely a mess. I don't know who I believe is like I think they're both evil as hell. Oh, yes, Yvette. We watched her walk in a minute ago. Woofy, throw me one too. Snickers. So Boyce denies Chad Daybell's request to continue trial. Now, things are about to get really interesting, you guys. Wait till you hear what else happened, okay? Boyce, if we are still up on the eve of trial and the state has exculpatory evidence and did not provide Pryor enough time, at that point, the cases may be severed. Boyce says he's not going to force Daybell into trial if he hasn't had enough time to examine exculpatory evidence. Oh, okay. Next item on the agenda, sequestration of the jury. Prosecution wants jury sequestered. Both defense teams do not. Rachel Smith arguing on behalf of prosecution. We are very worried, given the nature of this case, given the publicity, that if the court does not sequester the jury, there will be problems keeping the jury secure and making them have no contact from parties about this case. We have concerns that if the jury has contact from third parties and they consider outside factors, it violates both defendants' rights to a fair trial. We recognize it's a lot of money. We also recognize it's a real hardship and challenge for individuals. Lori's attorney says he would typically agree with the state on a high-profile case to have the jury sequestered, but his concern is having the jury away from family and friends for 2 months. 2 months? Are they expecting this trial to take 2 months? You guys, we are going to have a very busy April, May, especially considering Letecia's going to trial right before that in March. Oh my God, next week, the West... Trezell and Jacqueline. Teresa from Criminality, her brilliant self, got me up to date on all the upcoming trial dates. It's going to limit our jury pool. Our jury pool is going to consist of who? Retirees, nobody with a job, no one with a business to run. We'd rather have a jury that represents a cross-section of the community, so we respectfully reject the motion to sequester. Chad Daybell continues to face forward, not even looking at his own attorney next to him when he speaks, whereas Lori looks around the courtroom at whoever is speaking. Pryor objects to the sequestration. We can't get around the fact there's publicity. The only thing you're doing is stopping a bunch of jurors from reading the paper or getting on the internet. You can instruct them about that, Judge. You don't need to lock up a jury for 2 months like prisoners. Boyce says he's had a long time to think about this sequestration of a jury. I share some of the concerns about the hardships on whether you can come up with a cross-section of society if a jury is sequestered. He denies the request to sequester a jury. So now we're on to, can Chad and Lori meet up and all that kind of stuff? Ooh, okay. Welcome in the Dax. Thank you for joining. I'm so glad I didn't miss that because when I'm reading, I don't see you guys. Thank you so much. Okay. Next up, motion of joint settlement and strategy session filed by Lori Vallow Daybell. She wants to have face-to-face meeting and phone calls with Chad Daybell. Archibald says there have been settlement offers and that the two defendants would like to be able to talk about their options in a settlement. This is unusual to make a request like this. He's live tweeting, so there's some errors. Typically, the law enforcement want defendants to stay apart while their cases are pending. There are over 100 witnesses in this case. All of them can talk to each other, except Chad and Lori can't talk to each other. After our court hearings today, I'd like an order from the court that we are allowed to spend 30 minutes together in a jury room, Lori and Chad and their attorneys. This is an important issue for my client. So this was important to Lori. Whenever our they're never allowed to. You're right, Cray. They're really not. Hey, Delaney. So this was important to Lori, okay? And Archibald, we can have a sheriff outside the door to guard the clients and attorney from people trying to listen in and people trying to get access. Lindsay Blake, arguing on behalf of the state, says there are several concerns about this request. Each defendant has an attorney-client privilege with their respective counsel. They do not have the same privilege with the co-defendant's counsel. There can be no settlement conference if the state is not a party to that. The request is to not have the state present, so there could be no settlement negotiations unless the state is there. Prior addressing request to have Chad and Lori meet. This is what Chad's Daybell's attorney said. Mr. Daybell and I are going to present a defense. I took issue with the word strategizing. Mr. Archibald's motion used in his pleadings. I'm not going to strategize with anybody. I'm going to present our defense. Chad's lawyer doesn't want to strategize, which I'm so fucking happy about. These meetings are going to be trial prep. There's going to be no strategizing. This is trial prep. That's what Pryor said. At this point, we aren't going to waver from the true and accurate facts of this case. I'm not going to engage with Mrs. Vallow Daybell in terms of taking a plea offer. I find that inappropriate, and I'm not going to engage in that. Blake offering a rebuttal. We've still not heard one reason why the defendants themselves need to meet face-to-face. In addition to that, the defendants' respective counsel is not even in agreement about why they need to meet. Archibald asked if he can provide some context for his request. The state sent us a letter asking if we wanted to settle the case or not. I took that to my client and she said, "What does my husband think?" She is married and that's why I filed this motion. Archibald says if the state has it in their interest to settle due to high cost of trial, quote, "If we don't settle, then it goes to trial," unquote. Boyce, I understand the rationale for this request as it would be efficient for the defendants to talk to each other for a variety of reasons. The concern raised that the court really shares are the defendants inadvertently waiving privilege. Boyce denies the motion for them to meet, expresses security concerns not having a deputy in the room with Chad and Lori, and says it's an idea that is full of pitfalls that would far outweigh any conveniences. Chad Daybell is now being escorted out of the courtroom for the remaining part of the hearing. It doesn't concern him because it's about Lori and the death penalty. He walks out quickly with John Pryor behind him. Does not look at Lori. She chats with her attorney as Chad walks out. Brief recess. So Chad Daybell never laid eyes on Lori. She wanted to meet up and he wasn't having it. So I do believe that he's going to be turning on her ass real soon. I really, really do. Hey, Amber. I cannot believe that. Wow. Mm-hmm. You know it did, Nay. I can't be eating while I'm here on live. I mean, come on. Yep, Amber. Lori was wanting to meet up with him, and he was like, we have no reason to do that. Give me that strawberry. I'm freaking obsessed with these strawberries. You get them in the freezer section, and they're called True Fru. Nature's strawberries, frozen, fresh, and white in milk chocolate. And they taste like cheesecake a little bit. Okay. After the brief recess, Lori's attorneys expected to argue why they believe the death penalty should be taken off the table. Okay. Now, court back in session. Archibald arguing motion to declare death penalty unconstitutional. Says it's a standard motion filed by death penalty lawyers nationwide. We understand trial courts usually deny our motion and leave it for the appellate court. I don't know how to say that word, but for like after. Decisions about the death penalty are routinely flawed. Jurors, humans, are subject to error. They sometimes make decisions in death penalty cases prior to even hearing the mitigation. There is bias in the jury selection. The instructions to the jury are complicated. As a death penalty lawyer who has done many of these cases, we try to settle before we get to trial. Some death penalty lawyers would say if you're already in trial, you've lost because the jury is prone to convict. The jury is basically given a license to kill. Oh, Archibald, shut it. I had to come back and see what y'all were saying. Blake argues against the motion to consider death penalty unconstitutional. Boyce says it's a technical motion, 60 pages, and he will take the order under advisement. No ruling today. Archibald now arguing that that judge should declare Idaho's capital punishment unconstitutional. If Idaho is successful at getting a jury to kill Lori Daybell, will she really be killed? History says no. We are pursuing a punishment that will not happen. Archibald then reads the name of 8 people currently on death row, including some who have been awaiting death for 30 years. Why does Idaho seek to kill someone when they have no intention of carrying it out? Our process is flawed. It's replete with mistakes. The appeals process will go on forever if the state receives its wish of the death penalty in this case. That is why I'm asking the court to stop this nonsense now and declare Idaho's capital punishment scheme unconstitutional. Prosecutor Rob Wood notes that in the past 5 years, he has only asked for death penalty in one case. This one. Says it is rare to ask for it. Wow. Boyce says he will issue a written decision on the motion, and Thomas says they filed motion to declare Lori Vallow ineligible for death penalty for several reasons, including saving the state time and money. That's what they're concerned about. We don't believe the state is going to be able to prove Lori was a major contributor to the crime. We don't believe Lori actually participated in any of these events or that she even knew about them. She didn't anticipate them happening and certainly was not a participant. Bullshit. We need to be able to talk settlement and plan strategy as we prepare for settlement conferences, as we prepare for mediation. I am asking for an order from the court, and I'd like it to start today. Rob Wood said, I'm not going to get into the evidence of the case. Sufficient to say, a grand jury has found probable cause that she did commit these crimes. Wood said, quote, she intended for her children and Tammy Daybell to die, and the state will prove that, unquote. I love Rob Wood. I can't wait to see him finesse all of their asses. I know he will. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm mad. I get passionate about this. But how dare her? And her, Boyce will take motion under advisement and issue a written ruling. Archibald arguing final motion on death penalty. This is an objection to getting rid of jurors who say, yes, I'm opposed to the death penalty for personal reasons. They are automatically disqualified. What does that do? It causes juries to be more conviction prone. Half the states in the nation have done away with the death penalty. Why? Because standards of decency change over time. Standards in our communities change over time. In a state that's fiscally conservative, it's not a very fiscally conservative to have the death penalty. Rachel Smith responded, the motion is really asking the court to almost be a super legislator and set aside the will of the people of Idaho. The law in Idaho is clear that jurors must be able to follow instructions as given and not superimpose their personal beliefs. So it will be a written order, and that's that. And then there we have Lori again walking out with all of her curls and that stuff. Wow, wow, wow. Yeah, so many people died, all connected to Lori. And her attorney's trying to say that she was not there when they died and stuff, that recent stuff that came out. That just, it ticks me off bad. It really does. It's complete. Let's see what I've got here. This is... Oh, this is part of the prosecutor's response to Lori, and then this is more from the state. So they said, that's all about like precedent. And then they said, in the case before the court, the defendant has been indicted with premeditated murder and conspiracy to commit murder. Both of these crimes differ from felony murder in that they require the state to prove that the defendant intended for her victims to die. Because in felony murder, if you go in to commit a felony, like let's say you go in to rob a place and somebody gets killed, you're going to get charged with felony murder. You had no intentions of killing someone, but you don't have to. But in her particular charges, the state has to prove that, and they're well aware of that, basically, is what they're saying. Contrary to the assertions of the defense, sufficient evidence existed for the grand jury to find probable cause that the defendant intended for her children and Tammy Daybell to die. Further, there is sufficient evidence for a jury to conclude that the defendant participated in the killing of her own children. This intent of the defendant differentiates her from the defendants and that's the case they were talking about before with the precedent. And then just more about that. I'm not going to keep reading it just because we don't have the full court paperwork for that. This is a response to their motion for a joint settlement and strategy session. Let's see what the state wrote out about them wanting to meet up. The state has serious reservations about allowing the co-defendants to have face-to-face or other communication directly with each other. While the state recognizes that the defendants may communicate through their counsel and also may strategize together through their attorneys, which the state would not be a party to or have input on, there is no inherent right or privilege for the defendants to have direct communication. They recognize the defendants have agreed to not use any evidence or information they may obtain through any discussions against each other. Nevertheless, they're not willing to make a similar agreement. Any communications between each individual and his or her attorneys are confidential. However, having the other defendant and his or her counsel present would make potential witnesses of statements made by the other defendant because there is no privilege there. And then they give, a couple other reasons of why they don't want them to meet up, basically. So, but we know that they are, they're not allowed. So that's really exciting. And they are going to, now, no matter what, Lori is going to trial in April. Okay. The interesting thing is they said if the evidence wasn't back, they may push Chad's back. That's what the judge said. We just read that, right? So my question is, what if that is what happens? They push Chad's back, and then Lori's like, okay, they've pushed Chad's hearing back, so I'll waive my right to a speedy trial. Let's hope and pray that doesn't happen and we end up seeing a trial here in April. There should always be a death penalty when children are involved. I know. Let's check out that video, actually. Just so I can show you guys the grandparents. They've been waiting a really long time. They really have. And
protecting nature begins with...
I just can't wait for them to get justice. I can't wait for Lori to hear those words, which I believe she will hear, which is
chatting
guilty.
With Larry and Kay Woodcock. Before we get going, I just want to wish Kay a happy birthday. Kay?
Thank you.
Guilty on all charges. No, I don't know.
Assuming you're home in Louisiana?
Yes, we are.
All right. Well, here in Idaho this morning, we had a couple of motions, several motions actually, before Judge Boyce. I know you all have been monitoring the updates. I'd love to get your thoughts overall. First of all, the one that a lot of people seem to be thinking is the motion for the Lori and Chad to meet up to discuss strategy and settlement. The judge denied that. Your thoughts about the denial and your thoughts that maybe there's talk of a settlement?
The judge denying that request, thank goodness he did that. That just seemed off the wall kind of request. I think Lori just simply wanted to see Chad in person and to maybe figure out if she's going to turn on him or.
I don't think Lori's turning on Chad. She still I mean, look at her. She had her hair curled. She was smiling. She's begging for a meeting with him. I believe it's going to be the other way around when somebody turns, but I don't know.
I don't know. There's got to be more to it than just her wanting to meet and strategize. They have lawyers to do that for them. So I think it was just a raw request from her because she just wanted to know. She's probably not figuring if he still loves her, if he's going to throw her under the bus or what. So I just think she's looking for clarification, and I'm glad she didn't get it.
I was happy with the ruling the judge made in that issue. I did not expect anything other than that. There was no way.
I thought I was muted. I've been sitting here eating these strawberries thinking I was muted. I apologize, you guys.
The court, I felt like, was going to allow them to meet face to face without a state prosecutor, a sheriff's deputy, or somebody to be in there. So I didn't hold much validity to that was going to go through. I just felt like it was kind of a mute issue.
They could have had a face to face with one of us in the room.
Oh, absolutely.
We would have done that.
Oh, please give me that.
That would have been okay.
Yeah. I'll pay for that.
Yeah.
You just put me in the room with both of them and lock the door, and I'll pay for it. Yeah. But I'm glad.
I've always wondered why Lori didn't just give the kids to them, but it was so much more than that for her because she thought she was getting that money. Number one, she was receiving Social Security from both of their fathers who were no longer living, for Tylee from her dad and then for JJ. But also she thought she was getting that life insurance to take care of JJ and all that stuff. And, I'm glad that she didn't get the damn money, but also I just wish she would have just let them have the kids. You and Chad go live your pathetic little lives, but damn. I can't hear your strawberry eating good. They are super good, but yeah, they're a little difficult to eat politely, I guess.
That it was, I thought overall it was a good day. There's a couple of motions that he's going to come back on. I expect those motions to be favorable, but you never know. I think Lori tried to press around the court to get Chad to address her. Obviously, he never turned and looked at her. He never turned his head.
So that's what we heard, right?
And so I feel.
Amber, I don't think it's a dumb question at all. I wondered the same thing because I know in prisons they might have like little hair, a little place with someone cutting hair inside and that kind of thing. But typically in like a regional jail where you're waiting for court, no. But I do remember there was way back in the beginning, they asked if they would be allowed to wear plain clothes and that kind of thing. They wanted to be able to look a particular way for court. And I bet you that probably falls into that, where she's allowed to maybe get ready with her lawyer, or I don't know, but I think there's something there. What did Clary say? Let's see. Can achieve those kind of curls in her hair. Yeah, she could be doing that, like little tricks in the inside. Lori is not the only greedy one here. He gave the insurance money for expenses for raising JJ. When JJ is dead, you don't see Kay and Larry passing the money along to Charles' kids. Well, you know what? I don't have nothing to say to that, because I don't know what they're doing with Charles' kids, but I would hope that they're helping them. Victims' families, etc., don't understand defendants' rights. Let me at them. Well, it doesn't work that way. We don't get to intimidate the defendants, but I get the emotions too. I know. Hey, Larry, he has been through it with them. I mean, I remember when they were still missing, and Kay and Larry speaking out then.
Like that, Chad is at the point now
You get a strawberry.
where if she doesn't believe it, and I'm going to tell her right here, Lori, you're fixing to get thrown totally on the bus. In fact, you're not going to get thrown under a bus. You're going to get thrown under a steamroller. You may as well accept that. Chad is not your friend. Their attorneys are not your friend. And I truly believe they are going to throw her under a bus the moment the case opens.
His attorney, Chad's attorney, when this issue was discussed about the meeting, said, I want to be clear, I don't agree to the term strategy. There's no strategy.
Tell him, Grandpa.
We're going to trial. We're preparing our defense. They can strategize. We're not strategizing. So to your point, Larry, it seems as if they're already trying to, set the path forward for them. And as far as I saw, Chad did not look at her one time. He was fixed ahead. Lori leaned back kind of in her chair to look behind her attorney's back over at him, and was attentive to whoever was speaking. He just was straight ahead. So, Larry, you mentioned the death penalty motions that even her own attorney admitted are quite technical and basically procedural in a way. You have to file them. The judge didn't rule on that. The other...
Okay, so we're going to take just a little pause for a moment, and we're going to talk about Gannon. Now, I don't have any videos or anything for us to look at here. I might have something in my... in the back, but Gannon Stauch was a little boy who went missing. Was it 2020? I'd have to look for the year, but he went missing in January. I think he was 10 turning 11, and he's the exact same age as my son, who's now 14. So it's been a couple years ago. And she is finally also coming up for trial. It's, as a matter of fact, his case kind of broke loose around the same time that Lori's did. I think Letecia was arrested in like April, and I think that Lori was arrested in that February or March, and then Chad was arrested June. So all of this, I believe, unfolded around the same time, and they are both about to face court finally, or face their trials finally. So Letecia, yesterday, and the person who sent it to me, by the way, is my friend Criminality. And yeah, if anybody minds, can you drop Teresa's link for me, pretty please? She had sent me some court paperwork. I'm actually not going to show them now because there are a few addresses that are on there and they haven't been marked out. And most of them are to the FBI offices and stuff, but just to be safe and but I still want to talk about it. Okay. I want to talk about the people who have been chosen to testify. So if anybody didn't follow it, Gannon went missing. His dad was out of town. His stepmom comes forward and says Gannon went to one of his friend's house, and he never showed up, even though he had missed school that day for being sick. So that was kind of bizarre right off the bat. Gannon had a little sister who was like just a couple years younger than him. And he had an older stepsister, which was his stepmom's daughter. Her name is Harley. Stepmom is Letecia. So Letecia had some really bizarre behavior, arguing with people in the Facebook groups, lots of rumors swirling. First, the neighbor releases a video of Gannon leaving that day with Letecia and never returning home. So that's really when the public started, looking at her. She was arrested before he was found. They had found enough evidence to take her before they were prepared to take her ass to trial without him having been found. Not long after she was charged, he was found. He was thrown over, the side of an overpass in Florida. Now they're from Colorado. So she was arrested in Myrtle Beach where they used to live. So seems like, on her drive home, they went to Florida. We know that they went to some NASCAR stuff down there. And he was found like within a couple miles or less of the hotel she stayed at. He was thrown over the side of a bridge, and it goes over water, but he didn't make it in the water. He landed on the side where the rocks are, okay? She put him in a damn suitcase and threw him away like trash. Well, her ass is about to go to court too. And yesterday they released all the witnesses. And let me tell y'all, number one, Gannon's little sister, Lena, is a witness. And that's a little concerning. She was really young at the time. She did witness everything. I mean, she came home from school right around the time that they believe this occurred. If you look at the court paperwork, she came home from school and Letecia put her outside and told her to ride her bike, and then called her older daughter and said, "Come get Lena and go to the store for me. I need some cleaning supplies." Well, so Lena has a story to tell, and the night before Gannon went missing, there was an awful video that was accidentally posted to social media of her screaming at Gannon and just berating him. And in that video, you can see Lena laying on her bed, Letecia's bed. So anyways, me too, Twisted Taurus. This case, oh my God, it just it stole my heart and soul and sucked me right in. And I can't wait for the day that we see her pay. Now, let me tell you guys, Gannon's mom is also a witness. And, I don't know, do they pay because she doesn't live over in the West Coast. She has another child as well. So she's going to have to travel. Now, her Cash App is bringgannonhome@gmail.com. No, I'm sorry. That's her PayPal. You can find her PayPal with that email right there. So, I mean, I know probably, let me double check that for you guys. But I had been posting that to try to help when we talked about the case, to help because she's driving back and forth. I've even sent some myself before. So anyway, she's going to be a witness. Lena's going to be a witness. Harley is on the witness list. And there are many experts. It's weird. There are people from all over the country. I don't know what happened on her journey to Florida with that baby, but we are going to find out. You guys remember Letecia trying to escape after she had been arrested on the drive back to Colorado? Hey, S. Hockett. Travel fees are allowed for witnesses if more than 100 miles. Then usually actually costs plus per diem. Okay, good. Thank you, Latitude, because, that's expensive. It's going to be a lot. She did traumatize. It's awful. And to think, Letecia Stauch was a teacher, you guys. A teacher. The women and men that we trust to take care of our babies all day long. So, I don't know. She also tried to, I don't know what her defense is going to be, but the last time I covered it, she went to court. She had already had 2 competency evaluations. They don't call it that there. That's an Idaho thing. She had 2 mental evaluations. Both of them, she came back, competent. I don't know the word they used. It's different state to state, but regardless, she came back competent. She tried to fake that she wasn't. right before her second one, she goes to court spinning in circles, flipping the lights on and off, moaning, screaming, acting absolutely damn ridiculous. The games and the shit that she's pulled, I can't believe that she believes that she can get away with that shit. Just like her planning on escaping. They caught her trying to escape the damn jail. She was going to climb out the window. I wonder if her daughter's going to tell the truth. She better. She better. Because I'm surprised she hasn't been charged with more, just because she was there for all of it, whether knowing or unknowing. I don't believe that she knew, but regardless, she was there for all of it. And, her daughter talks a lot about her religion and that kind of stuff and how much God means to her. So I hope and pray that she does the right thing. But then after the 2 times, and the state says, okay, well, you've been found competent, blah, blah, blah. Her attorney says, well, they make up another reason why her mental health is going to get in the way of this process. And now it's not because we think that she was, insane during the crime, but now we're talking about after. It's just, I don't know. It's so frustrating. I wish she would have got stuck half in, half out. Yes, she did. I'm so happy how passionate you are about Gannon. Oh my God, Yvette. If you go back to that preliminary trial where they started releasing, the child had defensive wounds all over the palms of his hands. And I'll never forget that. It just, this case has just got my whole heart and soul in it. I can't. From the moment before he was ever found, just when you see him walking out to the truck, and when you see him going out to the truck that day, something's wrong then, because he drops something and he don't pick it up. He just looks at it. And she walks over and picks it up. He's obviously hurt or whatever. Then the neighbor said he appeared to be drugged or something, and imagine what the terror that he went through with her. I can't. That had me hooked. And then I remember the press conference, like the parents just holding each other. They were divorced, but holding each other, crying, and then they found him. And I don't know. It means a lot to me, this one, you guys. All that craziness Gannon had to endure it until it ended him. I know. While she was sitting there. Yes, the imaginary dude, Eduardo. Yeah, not Eduardo. Oh my God. And then she turned Gannon. First, she says that Gannon's using drugs, which, that just pissed me off. Then bath salts. Then she turns Gannon into some kind of hero who was trying to save her from being attacked. The stories and the bullshit, it reminds me of Megan Boswell. I can't believe when Teresa was giving me the list of the upcoming trials, Megan's trial is until 2025. What the hell? It's ridiculous. I'm sorry, but I think we can only get some truth from the daughter, I hope. I'm hopeful that she will be truthful. See? Yep, absolutely. Higher ground is really sad. So there is a court date. Hold on, let me look. It's coming up really, really soon. Let's see. So the court date for Lori and Chad is April the 3rd, 2023. And Letecia Stauch is in March 2023. Let me see if I can get an actual exact date really fast. I'll search for maybe on Twitter. A trial date has been set for Letecia Stauch. I'm sorry, you guys. My dad's leaving. Today's my dad's birthday. Here, let's look at this. soon as the car pulls out. Hold on. Well, shit, I ain't even sharing the screen. There we go. Oh my God, Yvette, that recording, if it doesn't, oh, I hope I don't get a jury summons for the Daybell case. Well, I mean, just tell him you watch a lot of YouTube about it or something. Maybe it will disqualify you. Cinnamon Bear, I'm not sure. So some of it has been televised, some of it hasn't. With Lori and Chad, they are fighting to at least get audio in there. They are asking for video privileges. I don't know that they'll get them. With Letecia, some of hers are televised and some of them aren't. So I'm not sure. Let's see what they say here. Look at Gannon. I mean, geez, you guys.
Story we've been following for years. The trial for Letecia Stauch just now over 6 months away.
20th.
The defense is requesting the trial.
Wait, what did she say? March 20th?
She's accused of killing her stepson Gannon in early 2020. And while there's a trial
For 6 months away.
20th.
The defense is requesting the trial.
What?
She's accused of killing her stepson Gannon in early 2020. And while there's a trial on the calendar in March, there's at least one
Thank
more
you,
big
Sugar.
step in this case
Thank you,
later
Brandy.
this month. Natalie Devereaux is live at the El Paso County Courthouse. Natalie, she's
Man,
set to undergo a
that's okay.
sanity evaluation.
Yes, Stauch's public defender tells me this test, which is set for October 31st, will be to determine if she was sane at the time of the crime.
Gannon,
Okay.
when you get here, you'll be able to truly tell what happened. And then I really hope I get a sincere apology.
4 days after Gannon Stauch went missing in 2020, Letecia Stauch spoke only with 11 News. 2 months later, his body was found.
I don't know why it's not changing the picture. Maybe, I don't know. Let's see. 2022, I'm going to look for the latest on her trial. And the battle begins. Letecia Stauch versus Michael Allen. More motions. Live media coverage. So there is a petition to get live media coverage in the trial. I'm going to copy this link and add it in chat just a second, though. Petition for the trial. March 20th. Yep. So Newsbreak says that it's March 20th. Colorado judge sets trial date for Letecia Stauch. After more than 2 years of delays, an El Paso County judge has set a jury trial date of March 20th. Oh my God, I cannot freaking wait. That is 2 months from yesterday. And I looked this up earlier, actually, I think. And because I was talking to LFT about it. 2 months from yesterday. Her defense had requested her second mental health evaluation be conducted at Colorado Mental Health Institute at Pueblo for her to wear an electroencephalographic monitor during the evaluation. The monitors are wrapped around the patient's head to gather and monitor brainwave data. But Josh Tellini, one of her defense attorneys, told the court that they would withdraw those requests and instead have the second evaluation conducted at El Paso County Jail sometimes in October or November. Judge Gregory Werner attempted to ask Stauch if she understood and consented to the request, but she informed Werner through attorney Will Cook that she would not speak to the court during the hearing. I'm so sick of her stupid little games. I won't show up. I'm not going to talk. Blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to shower. I'm not going to do this. You are such a fucking... Oh my God, you guys, she makes me so mad. She is such a selfish, narcissistic freak. And I'm sorry, I get really pissed. I am passionate about this stuff. It means a lot to me, and it's bullshit. Following the interaction, Werner set the trial date, which will be more than 3 years after the death of Gannon. Prosecutors said Gannon's blood was found on Stauch's shoe. Tracking data showed she traveled to an area near where Gannon's body was found, and her DNA was found on a gun tied to the killing. Yeah, because she didn't just stab him or use a gun. She also used blunt force. There was she had stabbed with something, she did something with a gun, and there was also blunt force trauma. This child, I just cannot imagine what he went through. In a previous hearing, Werner said he anticipated the jury trial lasting about 6 weeks. Delays in the case have occurred in part because of the need for mental health. Initially, she pleaded not guilty, but in February, Werner granted her permission to change her plea to not guilty by reason of insanity. The first mental health evaluation was completed earlier this year, and Werner told the court at the time she was found sane by a mental health professional. The results of the evaluation are what prompted the defense to request a second evaluation, conducted by an expert picked by the defense. Michael Allen, the DA, said the defense had requested for the trial to take place without a jury, but that the prosecution would not consent to that request. As a result, Stauch will have to face a jury. Stauch and her attorneys will return to court February 2nd for a motions hearing. So they're going to be in court in 2 weeks. And then the pretrial readiness conference is March 9th. And then March 20th, the trial starts. And I cannot wait for that. Harley, I think she was 17 and turned 18, like right after. Megan Boswell, that one's just horrific. Thank you guys for all the birthday wishes to Dad. She must have hated him. Oh my God. I know. She did. You can tell by her Google searches that she was getting resentment for the kids, because she's like, I'm supposed to be the stepmother, but I'm a glorified babysitter. Should I send my husband's ex-wife a card for Mother's Day? I don't know, just like ridiculous shit. You could tell that she was really not. Yeah. The best punishment for her is televising the trial. Oh, thank you, Wolfie. I woke up every day checking my phone to see if he had been found for close to 2 months. I know. All right, you guys. She is one of the worst. She ignites my anger too, S. Hockett. I get so mad. But anyways, I reckon I'm going to let y'all go. Boring, girl. Nobody's watching. What in the world is wrong with people to come in a chat and say that? I know, Latitude. How do you really feel about it? It's already so gross in there. They don't put up that no hygiene mess. I know. Oh, hey, Tammy. I'm so glad Gannon will finally get justice. I've been following it since January 27th, 2020. Well, you guys, we are going to watch it all together. You know what I mean? No matter what, because even if they don't allow cameras, I'm going live and we're going to go through the live tweets, period. Thank you, Kay. I guess we are nobody. That's all right. All right. I love you guys. I'm going to let you go. I'm going to go run an errand or two and then do the birthday thing. And I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. And then, yeah, I'll see you soon. Thank you to my mods. Appreciate you guys being here. And thank you for the chat. I really appreciate all of you guys. I guess we are nobody. Happy nobody right here. Thank you, Kid Kitty. All right. Grocery shopping. I'm going to have to run by the grocery store myself. Thank you, Delaney. All right. I love you guys. Have a great day. I'll see you soon. Okay. Bye.